of the more serious patients were actually choppered, flown out to flag. It's ended actually at that stoplight back there with lots of police around and the vice mayor.
The rain came hard and fast and the water was deep. I'm about 6 feet tall and you can see the water line is right about here. Sedona rolled in the heavy equipment to deal with the mess left by the flood. Peter Rubert had on a new pair of rubber boots as he waded in to retrieve his car, its engine packed with mud.
A lot of vegetative matter, silt, just whatever washed down, I guess, with the flood. It's all up in the engine compartment.
Soldier's Wash, which dumps into Oak Creek, was pushed over its banks by the downpour, flooding cars in nearby parking lots, stacking some, washing others away. The rain came hard and fast and the water was deep. I'm about 6 feet tall and you can see the water line is right about here. The runoff carried mud into shops at the Tlaquepaque shopping district. At the House Sweet It Is candy shop, Barbara Kovac is cleaning up after watching 2 feet of mud and water rise in her store.
Well, I ran out. I saw some mud coming in. I ran out with my broom to sweep it out, and the whole parking lot was coming up to my knees already. Ran back in to call 911, and I was getting stuck in there. My equipment started to move.
Even as the area dries out, shop owners keep an eye on the clouds and hope they're ready for the tourists in time for the weekend fiesta. With CBS 5 in Sedona, Greg Gurule. From the air, on the ground, firefighters continue to battle the Bear Paw wildfire. Pecos had one of the first teams into the fight as flames jumped treetop to treetop.
It was really crowning out. As you can see, the trees are crowning out there, and it was close to a good 20, 30 feet flame lengths or even more.
With much of the wildfire put down, action turns to cutting fire lines in case of a flare-up.
We don't want it to get nowhere where it's not supposed to be, especially like the homes down there. There's houses down there and a couple of the power lines and stuff like that, and also the safety of the firefighters.
As some crews kept watch on property, air tankers loaded with fire retardant hit the flames and hot spots from above. This is what the firefighters call a hot spot. This is an old stump, a stump hole to be correct. The stump is still burning, but the roots have been burning. They're smoldering right now. They're worried that the wind would kick up and maybe blow these flames onto areas that hadn't been burned. But you can see this area is burned out. This spot isn't so bad. When it gets closer up to the forest and it's still burning like this, it's a very real threat. The rough mountain terrain makes this firefight even tougher.
This fire, was pretty tough in the sense that a lot of steep terrain, a lot of broken terrain, not a lot of access, and so it was a dangerous fire when it was moving on us yesterday, and that's why we're trying to take advantage of the weather and the conditions we have today.
Astronaut test pilot Steve Austin was the first to be technologically enhanced.
We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man.
Rebuilt to the fingertips in the 70s hit TV series. That was Austin. This is Larry. Bionic reality 30 years later. Larry Merritt had his real arm, left useless by a motorcycle crash 11 years ago, amputated so the bionic arm would fit. He says it's life-changing.
Anything that it takes 2 hands to do. Carrying groceries to the car, holding my daughter, just everything. It's really opened doors for me.
And more than that, it even allows him to better care for his now 10-month-old baby girl.
Holding her and giving her a bottle or a glass of water, or even just holding her as we're walking down the hall. It's definitely helped with support.
He says all 5 fingers and the thumb move individually. Gripping even odd-shaped items like glasses and doorknobs is possible.
A traditional myoelectric prosthesis or electric hand only has what we call a 3-jaw chuck type grip. So you have only the thumb and the first 2 fingers that actually grip.
And as for being called the Bionic Man, Merritt says he doesn't mind.
It's neat. Yeah, it's great. The kids at schools, they at the grocery stores, it's just the reactions. It's really neat to show it off.
Manhunt for the 4 escaped inmates from the Curry County Detention Center is getting deluged with tips after Fox's America's Most Wanted aired an episode on Edward Salas. He is one of the escaped inmates still at large. Salas is also a convicted murderer and considered the most dangerous. The other 3 include accused murderer Larry McClendon, Michael England of Clovis, and Louis Chavez of Albuquerque. Today, the U.S. Marshals tell us they are investigating leads which came from several different sources in several different states. The 4 were among 8 prisoners who cut a hole in the jail roof and escaped August 24th. The other 4 have already been captured. A former APS teacher accused of using a shoe-mounted camera to take pictures up girls' skirts wants the charges thrown out. 24-year-old Christopher Lucetto's attorney asked a judge today to dismiss the voyeurism charges. Last year, 2 girls told security guards at Cliffs Amusement Park that Lucetto was bothering them. One girl said he put his shoe between her legs. Security officers say they found a shoe camera on Lucetto, and police said they found pictures of 4 different girls' underwear on it. But Lucetto's lawyer claims there's not enough evidence to prosecute the case. Judge Bob Schwartz took the motion under advisement and will make a ruling later. Santa Fe prosecutors plan to drop charges against a woman who's accused of hiring a man to kill her former lover. 26-year-old Noe Gonzalez was found dead in July 2007 in the parking lot of a Santa Fe bowling alley. He'd been shot in the head. Police arrested Zida Moravito and the victim's cousin, 33-year-old Hector Pena. Pena was later acquitted of the murder charge. Prosecutors say at this point there is not enough evidence to take the case against Moravito to trial. Police are still searching for a 3rd man in this case, Saul Pena. They believe he is hiding in Mexico.
West Side this morning.
Now, flying glass cut a passenger's hand when a bullet punched through the car's windshield. Police say they found 4 bullet holes in the victim's black sedan and 2 very shaken victims.
The victims noticed him early on because they saw him weaving in and out of traffic.
It went downhill quickly. The victims claim they did nothing to incite the gunfire, but quickly became the target.
Then at the time that they come to the light and they are next to one another, they notice that he's on the phone, that he's banging his fists into the steering wheel and onto the dash. And then they see him pull out the gun and point it at them and start shooting.
Police say he fired as many as 8 shots. Only 4 hit the victim's car. But police are hesitant to call this a case of road rage because no argument, no fight, no traffic problem led up to the gunfire just before 9 this morning on Coors near the Paseo del Norte on-ramp. The gunman is described only as Hispanic, in his 20s, driving an older model white Ford Expedition with no license plate. Meanwhile, sheriff's deputies are still looking for the gunman in what is a confirmed road rage incident on Sunday. 34-year-old Robert Chavez was shot and killed at a gas station after he and the gunman got into an argument following a fender bender near Coors and Arenal. The suspect in that killing is described only as Hispanic, in his 20s, with braces. He was driving a green Chevy pickup truck. And police say if you have any information about either case, call them.